Folks, everybody is in the chat already. We got a bunch of folks ready to tune in. We've got Paige Poffenberg. Burger. There it is. Paige Poffenberger. Loves the PFL and Bellator stuff. I love it. Thank you so much. We've already got Jay Jeezer here talking about my guest, Coty. Coty is actually here to help me break down this PFL 6 card. In fact, he doesn't normally do the PFL. So you Coty fans, you are here for a special treat, a one-off, if you will. Maybe he'll love this so much that he will do some more. We got Grateful Dude dropping in. He loves the PFL breakdowns. Grateful Dude, we are grateful for you, man. So we got some people already tuning in. This is gonna be a good time. Coty, how do you feel about this card? Are anything standing out to you just right off the cuff that you want to highlight?
Yeah, I got a couple bets, and I like PFL. You know, I watch PFL. I just don't bet it as often. So because I don't tend to have more than maybe like a bet or two on most cards, I don't end up making content for it. But I have told people who have mentioned like, oh, you gotta do PFL, you gotta do Bellator. Like, I've told them, hey, if y'all really want to see it, maybe I'll try it out. And then I see that your viewers love watching it. So, hey, it does seem like there's a lot less people doing it. So maybe I will have to, play around with it a little bit more. It is fun. I mean, my thing is, we were talking a little bit before the show. I'm not a huge parlay guy. So because I used to parlay a lot more, but nowadays, since I don't parlay as much, it's a little harder. But you can always find those couple dogs that you think, and I have a couple underdog bets on this fight or on this card. So we'll talk about that here in a bit. I'm excited.
There we go.
Some fun fights.
Yeah, there's some good ones here, and there's actually some spots where some underdogs could really come through. JD's here. He's happy that we're here. I'm happy JD's here. It's always fun when he's down in the chat. He's always very active in the chats, which is what we want. And guys, before we get too far into this, don't forget, we're going to be doing a parlay. So if you in the chat have any legs that you think would be great for this parlay, drop them down there. When you throw them in the chat, we'll make sure to circle back to them later. We're going to put together 3 to 5 leg parlay, maybe longer. I know me and Pick'em last time went a little deep in our parlay. I think we got like a 7 or 8 legger, and I think it hit actually. So that was a little bit scary, but we did it. So we were working with 2 cards. You know what I mean? So throw your legs in the chat. That sounds kind of weird to say. Throw your legs in the chat, guys. Real Fight Picks is here. We're talking about some UFC as Real Fight Picks, so drop some stuff about the UFC down there. If you guys haven't seen it already, I did drop a main event breakdown over on the channel, so check that out after this live stream. Don't waste time skipping over there now, right? But yeah, here we go. So the tape study for PFL can be tricky, JD, and he mentions down here that it's fun and easy because PFL is PFL, right? The best thing about the PFL tape study is you'll start doing it, and then they're going to change the lineup on you like a day before you get to see the fights. Like they changed some stuff on us, like I think it was this morning or maybe last night. So that's what we get with these. Yeah. So we now have a new co-main event. Fight earlier on has been scrapped. We're down to 11 fights total. I think we were at 14 at the start of the week or something like that. Yeah. Like Sunday, I think we had 14. I don't know. But anyway, we can get into the first fight of the night. First fight of the night that I have anyway is Tyler Diamond versus Brett Johns. And Coty, I'm going to let you kick this one off because it sounds like you've got some dogs. I want to know if this is one of them. Let's hear it.
No, actually, I do have a bet on this fight, but spoiler alert, it's not the dog. I actually got Brett Johns at -150. I think he's like -170. On most books right now, isn't he? Is that what he's at right now?
Something like that. Let's see.
Something like that. I still think, I think I'd probably line him closer to like -200. I'm really not a big Tyler Diamond guy. I remember him on Ultimate Fighter. He was pretty decent. Like he's well-rounded, but he's not like great anywhere. I just don't think, maybe he could take Johns down, but I don't think he's gonna go out here and like win 2 rounds with wrestling. And I think on the feet, it's going to be pretty close. I mean, Brett Johns, this guy, look at who he's fought. His UFC run, his losses are to top guys. Like he didn't lose the scrubs. He's fought much better competition. And then dude has a win over Montel Jackson. And if you watch my channel at all, I hold Montel Jackson. That dude is a freaking animal. And I mean, I don't care how you do it. If you can even just go 15 minutes with him, let alone beat him or even come close to beating him, I think you should beat Tyler Diamond. Tyler Diamond's not a very dangerous guy. I just don't see him finishing Brett Johns, who's so durable. And then over 15 minutes, I don't think, like, some people are acting like Brett Johns is washed or something, but I just don't really see that. I think a submission could potentially be live, but Tyler Diamond's pretty durable too. His defense is pretty solid. His grappling's not bad. I think he'll probably survive. It's going to be a close decision, but I honestly think that, I think he should be a bigger dog. I got Brett Johns minus 110 or minus 150. I mean, I think there's value on that. Honestly, I think he's the better fighter, honestly, at the end of the day. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I was tempted by the Tyler Diamond side because Tyler and I we share a name. So I do tend to root for my Tylers out there, but I couldn't get to it either. It was for a lot of the reasons you mentioned, that like Brett Johns, like his only losses are just some high level UFC guys. And although I do think that this fight is as close as maybe almost a pick'em, I still think Johns probably is going to pull it off. I think he's going to do just a little bit more, right? They both have similar skill sets, but different kind of tools in the tool bag, right? And if Tyler Diamond is going to win this fight, he needs to be the one initiating all the grappling exchanges, because if John starts initiating those grappling exchanges, Tyler Diamond's going to be in trouble. And the same could be true on the reverse, where if Tyler Diamond's getting the grappling exchanges going first, and Johns is going to be, having to defend takedowns and end up with his back against the cage, or end up having to scramble and create space and everything like that. I think then, whoever is initiating the takedown sequences and the grappling sequences is probably going to get the win. At least that's kind of how I see it, because I do think this is going to be a grappling fight, even though usually when you got a couple of grapplers, you get a lot of striking. I think we're going to see some grappling exchanges here. I lean Johns, but just like so slight, because although 20-4 is an impressive record, when you look at Tyler Diamond, I mean, 13-3, the dude's only lost 3 times as well. And that's also a pretty high level competition. So it's not like he's a scrub or anything, but yeah, I think we're on the same page there. It's close, but you're a little more confident than me. You placed a bet, which I do like that. JD's down here. He says, the company's super cool in regards to PFL. Their format's fun. So I don't know if I really like the PFL in general, because that Don Davis guy seems like a real can of worms. I don't like that guy at all, but I do admit that PFL is pretty fun. Just like I like that you get to see the same fighter a couple of months after you see him once before, so there's everything just fresh in your head. But yeah, as far as like some of the higher ups in the company, they seem a little bit slimy. But we can move on to the next fight. We've got Don Madge taking on Neiman Gracie. I'm going to kick this one off, and I think this is going to be Don Madge knocking out Neiman Gracie pretty easily, because Neiman Gracie can't strike. At least he hasn't shown that at even a remotely high level. And I think he's going to have a real hard time getting this fight to the mat. So, yeah, Don Madge, easy. I don't really have much else to say. What do you think, Cody?
Yeah, I mean, when Gracie was like sitting at like plus 350, I was trying to find in my head, I'm like, if they get to the ground, sometimes Madge, he's not a guy like I would feel super safe betting as a huge favorite, just because like sometimes he lets fights get closer than they need to be. He doesn't do enough sometimes. And then I'm like, this guy's dangerous. Why isn't he not just like going for it a little bit more? But honestly, like you said, you can't really man, it's 2024, and I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I've been doing it for almost 10 years, but I hate to say it, but the Gracie style is just kind of it's tough. It's tough at even medium level MMA these days, because I don't know if I would call this like the highest level, but it's you're still fighting the PFL. Don Madge isn't like a scrub, so you got to have some decent wrestling. And Gracie has the jiu-jitsu, but he doesn't have the wrestling. He doesn't have the striking. The fights start on the feet. He should be a big underdog. I just don't really see, even if he is to get him down, do I think Madge is just immediately getting submitted? Nah. So, like you said, you got to go Madge. You got to go Madge to probably eventually land something that either puts Gracie out or, close enough to it. So, yeah, I have to go Madge. Probably like second round TKO.
Yeah, I think Gracie can probably hang for the first round, run away enough if he needs to, or whatever he needs to do. But something you mentioned, so it's funny you mentioned that like Gracie Jiu-Jitsu and MMA. Like, I even go to a Gracie affiliated Jiu-Jitsu school, and I still agree that like it's in MMA, it's just not something that is getting it done. Like, there's too much difference between pure Gracie style Jiu-Jitsu and MMA. So yeah, so like Neiman Gracie, excellent grappler, excellent Jiu-Jitsu, but once you start hitting him in the face, like the Jiu-Jitsu level just drops a little bit, you know? Like, you just can't play off your back like that. But we've got Pick'em MMA in the chat. Pick'em MMA is a celebrity around these parts. He brought quite the crowd last week when we were breaking down both PFL and Bellator cards. So Pick'em, good to see you, brother. Glad you're in the chat.
What's up,
we got Hugh Walnut
he's sharp.
down there. He's talking some smack.
Okay. Hey, honestly, with that username, I respect it. I appreciate it.
There you go. Hugh
Pick'em is a legend, though. We did a show. We did Blood Money show one time, and he definitely always has sharp takes. So that doesn't surprise me.
There you go. That's hilarious. Yeah, you always get those people in the chat that like to fight. Like, I would love to fight somebody from the chat. That'd be great. Like, never luck out. But yeah, we can move on to the next fight. We don't need to beat up anybody in the chat right now. We've got Kamaka the third taking on Pedro Carvalho, and this every time I see a Carvalho fight, I get a little. I like think of Carvalho of old, but he's not that anymore. What do you think about this fight? Who do you have and why?
Yeah, I mean, Kamaka, I actually think this guy's pretty skilled. I was surprised to see the UFC kind of. Was it 2 in a row or 3 in a row? I can't remember. You know, he had some tough fights, and the problem with him is I'm sure the UFC is going to be a little quicker to get rid of him because, he lost to Jonathan Pierce and then TJ Brown, and then he had that draw with Danny Chavez. Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure it's partly influenced, but because I mean, the guy he can't bust a grape, man. He just doesn't have a lot of pop in his shots. He doesn't have a submission threat. So the UFC sees that it's like, if I keep this guy around, this high regards on this guy. But I mean, just off the username alone, I get it. But no, Kamaka, I do think he should win the fight. You know, I think he's probably gonna box him up. I just can't really bank on Carvalho to go out there and take him down. So it's on the feet. I just think Kamaka's probably gonna piece him up. But you can't. None of the props are sticking out. I mean, the bookies know Kamaka equals the fight's going to decision. So, you know, I think Kamaka decision, no hot takes from me here.
Yeah, and I'm pulling up the over right now. Over 2.5 is actually only -151. So, like, that's pretty solid, actually.
Dang, I guess I was just looking at Kamaka by decision. I think that I don't know what that's set right now, but I thought I remember looking at that. And it didn't stick out to me, but hey, that's actually not that bad because I guess the bookies are like, dude, Kamaka's due to crack someone. Dude. And I mean, Carvalho, it's been, I mean, I don't know, but he's got like 1 or 2 in his career.
He's got one knockout win in his career, and it was
Kevin.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't even that long ago. 2022 against Kevin Bain. There you go. Kamaka knocking somebody out as recent as 2 years ago. So, the 1 in his career.
I didn't even watch that I agree.
Fight. The over. As far as my take on this one, so I was low on Kamaka coming out of the UFC, and I faded him a bit when he got to Bellator at first, and then he just kept kind of edging some stuff out. Like he's lost once in Bellator, I think is all. But yeah, the guy just kind of edges him out. He's good at winning decisions. I think he's durable enough here to go to decision regardless of if he wins. I do think he wins. But Carvalho used to be a guy that like was pretty gosh darn good, but he just a lot of miles on the tank, you know, a lot of punches at the head. So Carvalho he's like 1-4 in his last 5 fights. He just hasn't looked like the Pedro Carvalho that you'd want to be betting on. So I can't pick him. So I got to take Kamaka. But like that over 2.5 at -151 is like a steal. I like that better than the Kamaka money line because the value's better. And like, I mean, if somehow Kamaka doesn't show up, you assume he's durable enough to go the distance, and Carvalho is probably not going to finish him. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that the way you got to go with it is the over 2.5, if from a betting perspective. But yeah, Kamaka's the pick. I do agree there. We've had a couple other people saying that Kamaka is a lock. There we go. We talked about locks on my Twitter earlier today. Was it yesterday? I can't remember. They're all the same day. We got JD looking to spar me if I remember in Tennessee. Brother, I am down. I don't know how big you are, but let's go. It'll be a good time. I'm like 5'8", 147. So, like, we'll have some fun there. I'm a small fella. Let's see. But JD's a good dude. I like JD. I'd definitely spar him. Exact same train of thought regarding Kamaka. Yeah, he's one of those guys that, like, when he came out of the UFC, you know, 2 losses in a row, hit a draw after that. You're like, man, this guy's not that good. But he's winning them now. Maybe he just needed to come into his own. He's still pretty young, isn't he? Like, he's still in his 20s, right? Like, he's not that old. He's I'm pulling it up. I keep pulling up his page. 29. Yeah, so he's still pretty, like, relatively young. I mean, he's been fighting for quite a while, you know. I mean, his first fight was in 2012 as a professional. Like, that's a long time ago. So I've already done quit fighting since then. You know what I mean? It's like that's a good amount of time. So yeah, for me, Kamaka, I think the over 2.5's to play though. 6'1" in the same weight. Okay. JD's a slender fella. That'll be fun. Okay, so we can move on to the next fight. I'll kick this one off because I actually got a pretty strong lean on this one. And so we've got Goiti Yamauchi taking on Andrei Koreshkov. And I think Koreshkov is the far better fighter here. I think he's the more damaging striker. Don't get me wrong. Yamauchi's a very good fighter. I think he can beat a lot of guys at this level, but I think Koreshkov still has enough to get this done. I mean, he's having competitive fights with Lorenz Larkin. Andrei Koreshkov is going to be the more damaging striker here, the better striker here. I think defensively and offensively. I think in the grappling, he's going to be good enough there to do what he needs to do there. Although I do think that striking is where Koreshkov wants this fight. And I think Yamauchi, although skilled, I just don't think he has the, like, danger factor to make me worry about just like a one-shot knockout or anything of that realm. So for me, I think it's Koreshkov all day, and I think the money line is still playable at -130. You can get him at +100 if you've got Bovada, and that's actually, if you've got Bovada and Bet Online, it looks like you can just play both guys at plus money, so you might as well. But yeah, honestly, I think it's a Koreshkov bet if you're just picking a side. But Coty, what do you think?
I'm glad. I honestly had this bad feeling you're about to be on the other side, but no, I'm with you, man. I bet Koreshkov at +130. Yeah, I mean, I had a feeling the line was going to come down. I was surprised. It opened, and I was like, he opened at like +130, and then DraftKings had him at +140, and I should have just hit it, but I got a little greedy. I was like, dude, what is happening? Are they going to give me like +150? And then I checked, and it was back down. So I was like, okay. Went ahead and bet him. I think he's the side. I even think, like, if they go to the ground, I would rather have the bigger, stronger guy in Koreshkov. Yeah, I mean, I just think and also people aren't even talking about, it wasn't that long ago that MVP absolutely destroyed this dude's knee.
True.
Like, that was disgusting. I don't know why that one, I think it was just the way it looked on camera. Just, man, yeah, that wasn't good to see, and that was not that long ago. But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think Koreshkov, I think he's got multiple ways to win, but I don't know. Yamauchi is pretty durable, so I guess I would lean decision, but I do agree with you, and I got him at +130.
Yeah, I haven't pulled the trigger on a bet yet. This line has moved a bunch, right? This line's kind of bounced back and forth. I think, yeah, he opened it like +130, and then he went down to like -104, bounced back up to like +110, and like Koreshkov's line has just been going up and down like crazy. So I haven't jumped on yet. I still might. I mean, it's still playable. I mean, anywhere around here is still playable for him. I think he should probably be about -160. So for me, I think anything less than that's solid. But yeah, Koreshkov's definitely the side as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, so Yamauchi has had one fight since the knee, but it was against Neiman Gracie, who's not exactly, someone that's going to be striking at your knee. I mean, he's going to be going for like a knee bar, but yeah, I mean, it's probably pretty safe. As far as like his knee is going to be pretty fine. I don't think he's going to.
I just think it starts to take a toll. Those injuries do, and it's not like it's been that long, and it's just an extra factor when you're talking about a guy who's. I mean, I'm getting plus money to fade him with a bigger, stronger guy who I think is more well-rounded, and he didn't just have a pretty devastating knee injury. I try to just take those type of things into account. But yeah, I mean, it should be a good fight. I think it's pretty competitive, but I like Korshkov.
Same. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad we're on the same side there. In fact, I think we've been on the same side of all of these. I'm sure we won't be on all of them, but we are so far. I'll let you kick off the next one here. We have Timur Khizriev taking on Enrique Barzola, and I feel like there's an obvious side, but maybe not. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I've rambled on a couple of these, but this one I don't have a hot take, man. Enrique Barzola, like, this dude's pretty tough. He's pretty like decently well-rounded. He's not a bad fighter. Like, I remember watching him in the UFC, and he's fought some pretty tough guys, but like the PFL knows what they're doing. Khizriev, this dude is actually like legit. He's gonna throw this dude around. Like, he's just simply better. I think when we start talking about the parlays later, he'd be somebody I'd be thinking about because the number isn't like absolutely crazy. Like some of these guys, he'd be one of like the top 3 guys that I'd be putting into the parlays as far as like value. Because I think he's gonna smash this dude, and Barzola's tough, so it'd be tough taking like a prop. But I like there's not really a prop that was standing out to me. But I just think, safe parlay piece, unless he absolutely slips on a banana peel, he wins this fight. So 16-0 for Khizriev. This guy's a problem.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like JD said, it's the same thing. Barzola's toughness is what's going to carry him because the dude is tougher than an old leather shoe. But at the same time, Khizriev's just too skilled, too talented. I mean, the dude's 15-0 for a reason. Like, he's not. I mean, he's not going to lose this one to Barzola, I don't believe. And like you said, unless he slips on a banana peel, the over is like -270, which means the odds are obviously leaning the same as you, is thinking, Barzola's tough. I was able to actually get Khizriev earlier this week. Maybe it was yesterday. I think it was yesterday it could have been Sunday. My days are running together at like -360 on DraftKings, which that's a steal. Like at 360, I'll just lay that chalk for him because I think, it should be safe. I mean, the line's closer to accurate now. I mean, maybe
it's hard to find like props on most books, but what's he by decision?
So they don't have any props out yet except for just the over-unders on anything that I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was just making sure like that you didn't have any books that had.
Yeah, because this fight card is what, Friday or Thursday? Thursday or Friday? I can't remember.
I think it's Friday, isn't it?
Let's see. It is Friday this week. Yeah. They switch it up on us every now and then. This one's Friday. Yeah. So I mean, they'll probably have the props out tomorrow, maybe. So my guess is they will. If you can get Khizriev by decision, probably sweeten the line a little, but maybe not enough to make it worth it. But yeah, we're on the same page there. Pretty straightforward. He's probably
laying chalk props is kind of dangerous because you never know. You could just mount him, and then you're like, oh my god. And even though Barzola's tough, if he just turtles up and then he starts throwing shots, they'll stop it or something. But probably end up just. I think you probably did the smart thing. Either eat the chalk and throw him, on the money line, or toss him in some 5-legger. But like we're gonna talk about later. But I think Khizriev is one of the more safer picks
for sure. And we've got AWMD.
That L word is dangerous, but
yes. AWMD is asking about Invicta. Yo, I'm probably the biggest Invicta fan you're ever gonna find. So AW, if you want to check out some Invicta stuff, I got a few plays on the Patreon. It's only a 7-fight card. I don't do a video on the Invicta, but I will tell you that I have 3 fights I've targeted so far, looking at a 4th one. There's a couple of fights on there, though, that like you just really can't bet, like a couple of pro debuts, stuff like that. It's a small card, 7-fight, like I said, but I'm stoked for it. I'm looking for it. The return of Kay Hansen, that's my girl right there. I was super stoked for her UFC run, and then she was just too small and got bodied by a lot of people. So her skill didn't quite overcome the size difference, but now she's still fighting in strawweight in Invicta. So love the Invicta. Let's see. We got another question from JD down here. He's curious. Let's see. I don't watch any other sports, like none. I guess BKFC, but
I watch the BKFC, a little boxing, but I try not to bet like 2 months. I'll bet a little boxing here and there, but really I know where my bread's buttered. I start betting other sports, I'm gonna just give away the money that I've won. Like, what's the point of
I
that?
do have one friend that is like super sharp with tennis. So like if he just tells me to bet something, I just bet it blindly. And it's like just okay, cool. And then it's worked out really well. I got a cat coming on screen here. Get out of here, buddy.
It's nice. I'm surprised mine's not doing the same.
But I do bet tennis, but I've like never watched tennis in my life, so like I don't know anything about it. But
Nice.
but yeah, I literally don't watch sports. Any ball sports, I don't even enjoy them. I don't watch them. I don't like them. I think they're boring. Puck sports aren't much better, I guess. none of that stuff. Yeah. So, but yeah, nope. Pretty much MMA. That's it. I don't even like boxing anymore. It's boring. Used to be good. It's boring now. But we can move on to the next fight. Let's see. I guess I'm kicking this one off. I think you went last time. This one is a very interesting fight. We got a couple of undefeated Russians here fighting. And we've got, I'm going to mess this up, Murad Ramazanov taking on Shamil Musaev, I think. Musaev and Ramazanov. I'm going to go with that.
I think that's right.
Yeah, we're going to go with that. Ramazanov. Anyway, Ramazanov and Musaev. This is kind of the battle of the unbeatens right here. And it's weird because where it fell in the format here, it doesn't really have a ton of playoff implications. And that's kind of strange that it just kind of fell here because they do their silly little points thing for their playoffs. I think that's silly, but whatever. It's fine. I get why they do it.
I like that they try to do something different. It's not my favorite, but I'm like, you know what? Do something different because nobody's going to do the UFC better than the UFC. So I think that's why BKFC is working because they're doing something different. So I respect trying to do something different. I think they need to make some changes, but you're on to something because it's something different. So I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I get that. That's for sure.
Kind of fun to watch too. Like it's different. It's just not the same shit. I'm cool.
Yeah, the only problem is you end up with a lot of fights that just are supposed to happen that don't because they fight 2 months apart. And then, so it just like the integrity of the season falls apart. So that's the problem. That's the biggest problem with their like season format is it's like, okay, well, this guy is supposed to fight again. They got knocked out 2 months ago. Okay, I guess, but like, that's not how it should be. So that's a problem.
You almost incentivize fighting a little safer in some situations. Cause you're like, especially we're going to talk about it later, but, it's the Storley fight, right? Yeah. Like he doesn't actually necessarily need to win because of the way that the format works.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's almost like if you feel like you're taking damage, lay down and cover up and just lose.
Yeah, tap out strikes.
Don't risk losing the chance to win the million over a random fight. You know what I mean? So I like that they're trying to do something different, but there is changes that are going to have to be made because it gets a little weird. But yeah, we'll talk about it.
I was listening to someone talk about it. It was when Jenna Bishop was supposed to fight Taila Santos. They were saying that Jenna Bishop is likely going to have to fight Santos again in 2 months. So, which she didn't. I think it turned out like with the way things fell, she's fighting Kutateladze, but Jenna Bishop still it potentially could fight her again, but she was going to make the playoffs regardless because she got like 6 points or something. So they said like if you start taking damage, you might as well just tap. And I was like, that's so dumb, but it's accurate, and I hate that.
Yeah, it's weird. It is weird.
But I mean, it is what it is. But to break down the undefeated Russians, so I'm gonna say, like, I think this is from what I've gathered, right, is that Ramazanov is going to be the better wrestler, and that Musaev is probably going to be the better striker. And I tend to side with the wrestlers because wrestling is kind of, it seems like it might be changing a little bit now, but wrestling seems to dictate where the fight takes place. It dictates whether you're striking, whether you're grappling. It dictates if you're up against the cage, center of the cage, whatever, because the wrestler typically is dominant in the positions. And so I typically end up picking the wrestler, the person with the wrestling advantage. But lately I've had to change my strategy. At the start of this year, something started changing, at least with the UFC. And that's kind of been like a lot of strikers have been beating wrestlers. And that's kind of I started the year off a little rough because of that, actually. But we've been bouncing back. We had some good weeks the last however many weeks now. But so I've had to change my style a little bit. But I do think that in this one here, the wrestler, and right here, as Jordan says, Murad or so Ramazanov, he's going to have a size advantage. So I do think that that's going to help him out, especially if he is going to be the one trying to wrestle. And I do think he is going to be able to get the fight to the mat when he needs it. He's going to have some positions or I guess moments in the fight where he's going to probably really need a takedown. And then it's going to come up to the judges on whether they think that, okay, the 4 minutes of control time he got, or the minute of him getting his face caved in type of thing. I feel like we're probably going to get something like that. It's probably going to decision, and it's a darn good fight. So for me, I lean Ramazanov, but this is a really close one that I would honestly stay away from. Neither of these guys has shown the ability to lose. So, it's not like we have anything to go off of as far as like what their big weaknesses are. But JD's talking about how the undefeated prospect versus undefeated prospect. Yeah, we don't get those fights super often. So that is actually pretty impressive that I do like this. But I just wish that we could have got this like in the playoffs, right? But but Cody, what do you think about this fight? Are we on the same page, or is this our first disagreement?
This is good, man. I'm glad this is happening because I had a feeling this was going to be the one.
Yep.
So this is the one probably on the whole card. At least, I think that we got a lot of big favorites coming up next. But yeah, no, I'm leaning Musaev. And I actually did bet him at plus 120. So we are directly, we got a little disagreement, which is good. Yeah, no, I do think this is a close fight. I do think I agree with the size advantage. But I honestly, I don't know. I haven't seen Ramazanov. I haven't seen him against a guy that's as quick, I don't think. And I honestly think the speed is going to be a little bit of an advantage. And I do think, it probably is going to play out similar to how you said, minutes versus moments. Like, I'm sure Ramazanov probably will be able to get a takedown or two, but hold him up against the cage and just be the stronger, bigger guy. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But I've also seen him slow down a little bit, even in some of these fights he's winning now. He is winning these fights and typically in dominant fashion. So I try not to be too, you can't be too hard on him. But I am still trying to figure out how good his gas tank really is. And I could see him getting clipped, man. I don't know. When I try to envision how the fight's going to play out in my head and then kind of trust that. And especially if there's a plus money on that, and that's genuinely how I see the fight going down, then I got to go with that. So, and I honestly think Ramazanov's probably going to put him up against the cage, probably going to hit a couple takedowns, and then he's going to get a little slower, and there's already a speed advantage to start. And I honestly don't think Shamil is somebody you want to be on the feet with when you start slowing down, especially that size can start to work against you. And, I don't know if he's going to be able to just shoot underneath the Musaev, who, I don't know, man, he's hard to track down. Like, these dudes aren't really able to just wrestle him very easily. This is a good fight, honestly. So I think, if you got plus money on either side, it's hard to really knock that. I saw plus 120 on the path and maybe if I would have been able to see the props, but like we talked about, they're not out yet. Because I was thinking about maybe I'd just take Shamil by knockout. But I just think he clips him, man. I think at some point Ramazanov's going to slow down, and I see the knockout happening. So give me Shamil. I actually perfectly. You literally took the words out of my mouth. What I've been talking about lately, how I've always, and maybe it's because I'm biased because I'm more of a grappler. I trained at an MMA gym for 7 years, but nowadays I'm mostly just wrestling and jiu-jitsu, get hit in the head less. Don't really care to spar heavy every week. But no, so I consider myself more of a grappler, but I always bet, in close fights, I tend to lean with the grappler, like most of my betting, career and just watching the sport. But this past year, like you said, you really kind of shift that a little bit because, and sometimes you see this isn't always the case. in general, it seems like the judges are rewarding him a lot more than they used to. And they're really, I think the UFC behind the scenes is telling them, like, it's a change of position. Like, these are not, takedowns don't matter. Like, if they don't land real ground and pound or damage or come close to a submission, it counts for nothing. And but yeah, JD, I'm from the DMV. I trained in Maryland for like 7 years, and now I'm out in Virginia, so East Coast. But yeah, no. So it's a close fight, man. This is one of the best fights in the card. It might even be the best fight. I wish it was closer to the top and had some more, some playoff implications. But yeah, I'm gonna lean with Shamil. It's good that we at least don't agree on every single fight. But yeah, it's gonna be a competitive fight. It's not like I wouldn't be shocked if Ramazanov can survive and wrestle him for 2 rounds. He's pretty well-rounded.
Yeah, I mean, either person could win this and I won't be shocked. That's why I'm not going to bet it, honestly. Yeah. I'm just going to stay away. I don't want to risk it. Especially because, like you said, I mean, the speed and like striking advantage obviously is on Musaev's side. So it's one of those. But I mean, it's a good fight. It's weird that it's on the prelims. It's weird that it's not like it happened before the playoffs, because they say that they like randomly like match everybody up, but they don't. That's just that's a lie. Otherwise, there's no way you would get the matchups that you get just like by happenstance most of the time. Yeah. This one's just one that fell victim of like everybody else getting the matchups they wanted them to get. So whatever. But yeah, the next fight is actually one that I feel very strongly about. Thankfully, you're kicking it off though, because I'd love to hear your pick from it first. JD's shouting you out in the chat. He said, if you're ever in Tennessee, hit up JD. Let's see. He hasn't done much grappling, but he'd like to. Okay. There we go.
Nice, man.
Dude, grappling's fun.
Tennessee's pretty awesome. I have gone out there before. But yeah, man, same goes to you, of course, if you're ever in the DMV. My gym's in King George, pretty close to like the Maryland, Virginia bridge. But yeah, you or anybody ever wants to come through, even if you just want to grapple or whatever you want to do, yeah, hit me up, man. Always trying to get the people like the MMA Twitter kiddos to come to the gym and stuff, but not on anything like, not on any like grit, just on some, let's get some training then, man. It's cool. We've had some people come through, but yeah, man, I appreciate that. But as far as this fight, man, Larkin, Dominguez, I'm in now. I'm like, damn, you got a strong take on this one, because I really, I'll be honest, and I'm assuming you're probably pretty confident on Larkin, but I don't know, man. Like, I used to really like Larkin, man. I just remember that beating he put on Neil Magny, absolutely murdered that guy, who's still killing it. And I do think this is like a huge step up from Dominguez, like, who's looked pretty good, and he's pretty well-rounded, and he is tough. Like, he's shown he's got a chin, he's durable. When he was sitting at like plus 350, he was actually somebody I was like, could this be like my crazy big dog shot? Just because I'm like, man, Larkin, like, typically when Dominguez is losing, he's getting like taken down, and I don't think Larkin really brings that to the table. So, he doesn't bring that to the table. He's going to go out here and try to knock him out. But overall, I'm like, I don't think I can really see. That would be pretty crazy for him from coming off the tape that I've seen, Dominguez to step in there and beat somebody like Larkin, especially because I don't really see him being able to really take him down. He's probably just going to be forced to strike it out with Lorenz Larkin. And man, 37 or not, Larkin is a dangerous dude. He's a scary dude on the feet, man. So yeah, I couldn't really get around to it. I think Larkin wins. I think he probably is. I actually think he probably could be the first to crack Dominguez's chin. He's just a dangerous dude, man. But even if it goes to decision, Larkin's been pretty good in fights that go to decision. He also tends to get grappled when he loses. So, he's had his chin cracked before, but Dominguez isn't like some crazy power puncher. I think Larkin's probably chews him up here. So, yeah, don't have a crazy hot take, but I think Larkin's a big favorite for a reason.
Yeah, and I definitely think that he should be a big favorite. In fact, the fact that money has come in on Dominguez has surprised me, because Larkin is down to like -2 something on Bet Online. Let's see what he got. 276, which I thought the line was right about -400. So I don't know what's going on there. Lorenz Larkin is coming off of his first loss since 2017, and it's a split decision to Andrei Koreshkov, somebody who he also beat in a split decision prior.
Yeah.
Like Larkin is he's still got it at this age. It's not like he's washed up or anything. This dude, his first loss is a split decision to Andrei Koreshkov. That's his first loss since 2017. 2017 doesn't sound like that long ago. When you think about it, that's a long time ago. Like 2017 is a long time ago. Larkin's still doing the darn thing, and he's still doing it at a high level. I mean, he's like destroying some of these folks. Like, I mean, poor Kyle Stewart, I guess, but that wasn't even fair. But like, I mean, you know, but like that Berkhamov.
Hey, he did what he was supposed to do to him, though. Like that, like
right.
when there's a mismatch like that, I at least want to see that you go in there and do what you're supposed to do. So he did that. So yeah, I mean,
it makes me feel patient. Yeah, yeah. The cats are really playing the piano. That's what that was. But yeah, no. So Lorenz Larkin should be the much better striker. He's got incredible power. He's vicious on the feet. I think he gets this one done. I think he makes it look easy. Could he lose? Sure. But I feel like it's going to be a striking fight. I feel like if it's going to be a striking matchup, dude, Lorenz Larkin is the side. So that's where I'm at on this one.
Yeah.
I feel, especially with the line, my goodness, I can't believe that this line has shifted. Let's see. He opened at like -400 or so, and it's bounced around a little bit. But I mean, he was clear down to -550 at one point. Now he's down to -276. I have no idea why the money's coming in, but either way, I mean, yeah, the cat had to get the 2 cents in. That's right. But yeah, so I mean, Larkin for sure.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about like coming to Tennessee. I think it reminded me of something. So JD in the chat, I've been to Tennessee twice now. Both times I went there to go to the Bonnaroo Music and Arts Festival. JD, have you been there, man? Let me know if you've been to the Music and Arts Festival. I would love to know. Let's see what's Marcel's in here. Oh, maybe an injury. That would be interesting if there is an injury on the side of Larkin, and that's why money's coming in. That's a good point. But then again, like everybody thought that when a bunch of money came in on Armfield before the He-Stand fight, and He-Stand went out there and just ran that way.
I literally sat there on my Bet Online account with He-Stand just loaded up. I was like, and all I was thinking was, what if there's inside info or something? And I didn't play it, and then I'm watching the fight, and I'm like, oh my god, he's about to win this fight. Even though he did get hurt,
so I had him.
He's a dog. Yeah, that was a good bet.
Dog. So and like I had inside information because a buddy of mine is like he's been in the inside with the camp there and everything. So I knew that training for the Murad and Cejudo fight, Murad's main training partner that was emulating Cejudo was Brady He-Stand. So I mean he was getting round after round after round in with Murad.
Yeah.
Go figure, the dude shows up and fights like he's Murad out there. You know what I mean? So
yeah, no, he's a beast, man. I think the dog for him is going to be coming to a close. Well, that division is crazy, actually. So, yeah, I mean, I guess you probably, but like getting him at plus money is because he's like the type of dog that is just you can feel good betting him because he's gonna fight for your money, good cardio, willing to just like smash and not gonna like lose off some like getting away from his game plan. He's just gonna go out there and shoot takedowns. So yeah, he's a dog. That was a good bet.
Word. I bet him in every single one of his UFC fights, and he should be undefeated, honestly. I mean, the loss to Ricky Tercios was, I think,
he won. He took him down like 6 times, and I know we were just talking about that's a prime example how they haven't been scoring that. And I mean, I'm all for like if you're just laying on them, but then you go to the feet and you get absorb a bunch of damage. But Tercios wasn't really doing anything. So if you don't do damage, but you spend the whole fight on your back, like you lost, bro. Like at the certain point, like, I don't know, man, there's got to be a balance because a takedown shouldn't mean like they're saying it's just a change of position. That's kind of BS. Like
it is.
You want to be on your feet and I put you on your back. That's something. Like just like octagon control is something, that's like octagon control. I'm controlling where we go. You know
Well,
what I
how
mean?
many times have you been taken down and you're like, oh, that like knocked the wind out of me? Like I've taken people down so hard that they've been like, dude, I'm done. You know?
I've been taken down and it's been like,
Hurts.
it's changed the momentum of the round and vice versa. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, for
Or they
sure,
run through you
nobody.
with a heavy blast double, and you're just like, next thing you know, you feel like you're gonna shit yourself. You're like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, let alone if we're talking about like throws. I've been thrown on my
Oh yeah.
head. So
So
yeah, no. You're gonna tell me a judo throw counts for nothing? Dude, I'd rather get punched in
serious,
the head.
dude.
Getting judo thrown on my head, like, yeah, that's not fun.
I wonder, do they probably score the judo throws a little, right? I mean, they
Yeah,
have.
I feel like they do, but it's just in general, like
Yeah.
I feel like the grappler's been getting a rough end. I actually, my boy Liam Picks Fights had a good post on Twitter like a couple days ago about it. It was just saying how it's a tough time to be a grappler in modern MMA right now because people are getting away, just like in that Shara Bullet fight. People are freaking getting fistful of the cage. Now, don't get me wrong, he was probably going to win that fight no matter what. But like the whole way that Tricoli could win the fight is if he gets a takedown. And he had that takedown. Like, yeah, he would have only had a minute to work, but like Shara sucks on the ground.
So bad.
Who are we to say like that he would have just easily gotten up? Who knows? Especially the danger Tricoli was in. He would have sold out for that sub. Who knows, man? Maybe he hops on his back. He's like juiced up freaking big dude. He might have hopped on his back and Brennan get choked him there. You're going to tell me 55 seconds isn't long enough to land a choke?
Yeah. Dude, and like, who didn't throw $10 on Tricoli by submission? Because I know I did. I mean, like,
I didn't, but I talked about it, and it was one of those that I like. It was good value on that. I only did like I feel like at the time I brought it up, it dropped a little bit, but yeah, I mean, Tricoli sub still like that was his path, so that
I'd play that again.
Yeah. I mean, you got
dude doesn't grab a fistful of cage, he might have got that.
Yeah, you never know, man. So yeah, that was a tough ride.
But yeah, I mean, like, Shara's going to get destroyed if he ever fights a grappler. It's unfortunate.
Dude, I was looking at the middleweight rankings. This dude is screwed. They better give him, like, who's like the unranked, I mean, they could give him, like, Roman Kopylov, even though he just grappled somebody up. He'd probably take him down, honestly.
Yeah, Kopylov would just out-grapple him.
But if you look at the top 15, like 13 through 15, it's literally like Michelle Pereira. Oh, my God. That's a round one sub. Easy. Bet your life. Max bet. Like Anthony Hernandez.
Oh, he'd get murdered. Then again, Hernandez beats most of the division, to be fair.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm big on Hernandez. I bet him every time. And then who's the other? Kyle Brallo. That's 13, 14, 15. Those dudes all take him down and sub him in a round and a half.
So, and you mentioned the Kopylov. What if they book him against Cesar Almeida? I think that actually is a good fight. They'd probably both strike.
Yeah, that probably is a pretty solid fight, honestly. And then you get the whole, like, Cesar Almeida be willing to fly out there to Saudi or Abu Dhabi so they can get the whole two different high-level strikers from different – they're going to try to keep that guy at least one more fight away from the good. Let him work with the Dagestanis for another year or two because that dude fights any – I mean, literally, he's screwed. That even beyond that's only 13, 14, 15, man. Like – there's a lot of grapplers in that 10 through 15 area. Not to mention, Bo Nickel. He should have ignored that too. He made the horrible mistake of like responding. I would have been like, Bo, who? What are you talking about? Anyways, Roman Kopylov, where you at? Like,
seriously.
But yeah, he don't want that Bo smoke, bro. Bo will just
even if Bo can't strike with him, like he doesn't need to.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he could just knock him out. I got Bo via KO, honestly. Like, I think he probably would take him down, but I honestly think he could ground and pound him. He could knock him out with the hands. Shara's not that good, dude. You're going to circle around and throw a switch kick over and over. Good luck, dude.
He's got nice kicks, but that's about it. I don't think he's as good as – so I always laugh because everybody talks about that like video of him at the mall where he like beat up that dude or whatever. So he didn't beat up that dude until after he got taken down and beat up by the dude that he was trying to assault, and then waited till the guy was going to leave and sucker punch him from behind. Dude got beat up by some random ass dude at the mall.
No, it was a random ass dude in like Russia, so I hold them a little.
That's fair.
No, I'm playing. Like that dude's probably like a Sambo world champ, but
that's fair.
Nah, but seriously, that is a bad look. You got to knock that guy out at least.
Yeah, like I can't imagine just walking down to the like local Omaha mall and all of a sudden if I try to like jump somebody, then they just kick my ass. That'd be so embarrassing.
Yeah, for real, dude. And then it's on
camera.
camera.
We got sidetracked. We are on another. Let's see. What do we got next? We got Gabriel Braga taking on Bubba Jenkins. There we go. Okay. Man, I can't pick against my guy. I got to take Bubba Jenkins. Like, I know he's supposed to lose this, but I can't pick against Bubba Jenkins. That's my dude. We're going Bubba Jenkins here. We're going to hope that he can just completely just wrestle and hold on for dear life, smother, control, maybe get a submission, but probably just control his way to a decision. And we're going to hope that he can do that for 15 minutes because Braga's dangerous. Braga's good. 13-1 for a reason. Bubba Jenkins, though, I mean, the dude still got it. I mean, yeah, he's not. I'm picking with my heart here. I'm taking Bubba Jenkins, but it's definitely with my heart. But real quick, shout out my dude. There we go. Anthony Smith's my guy. He lives just down the street, so I'm always rooting for Anthony Smith. But
spoiler alert, I haven't bet.
Yeah, there you go. Anthony Smith's gonna win that thing. I hope so. I don't know. I can't wait till everybody sees the thumbnail for my video because it's very like it's gonna. I think it's gonna get a lot of people to click on it because it's gonna be super like. It features Anthony Smith and it's and Alex Pereira. So let's put it that way. But Cody, what do you think about the Braga versus Jenkins fight? Since we are in PFL, that's what we're on PFL mode.
Yeah, no. Well, that's another story for another day. But yeah, no. I mean, I feel you, Bubba. I mean, like, if he can just stay safe, he probably can take Braga down pretty easily. I struggle. Like, I feel like he wins the first round. He can wrestle him in the first round. I feel like Braga most likely wins the third. And this is one of those fights where, like, can Bubba hold on to win that second round and then just stay safe in the third? Braga is dangerous. I don't know, man. Honestly, like, I guess technically we'll be apart on this one again. I'll probably have to slightly lean Braga. But I think if you're betting it, like, I'm not betting this fight, but I think if you are betting it, it probably is dog or pass because I've seen Braga get taken down by worse wrestlers than Bubba Jenkins. I think Bubba Jenkins, he's pretty legit, man. Like you said, I think he still has it. I don't think he's washed by any means. I mean, he's fought tough guys. Like, like he's not fighting bums. So, I think he could take Braga down. Can he take him down for the first two, survive the third? That's pretty much the question for me. It's pretty close. I guess gun to my head, I'd have to pick Braga, but yeah, I don't hate anybody taking an underdog shot on Bubba Jenkins. Plus money Bubba Jenkins is never really I can't ever really knock that. Dude's a dog. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. But it's gonna be a good fight. I think that's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely going to be the damage versus control time argument in that fight. I mean, unless it doesn't make it to decision. And I think if it doesn't make it to decision, it's probably a Braga win. I assume Bubba's not submitting him. Maybe he does. But Classical Andrew in the chat. Classical Andrew loves Bubba as well, but he's leaning Braga. Dude, I kind of feel what you're saying, but I'm still going to pick Bubba because I'll feel like a dirtbag if I pick against him and he loses. So, or he wins, I mean. So, it's happened to me once before on one of my favorite fighters. It happened to me in a Damon Jackson fight, and I've never forgiven myself. So, so since I've been on Damon Jackson every single fight because the one time I decide to pick against him, he loses or he wins. But whatever. But yeah, I mean, I figured we'd be apart on this one. Bubba's got no cardio. I mean, I don't know about no cardio, but it's definitely not his strongest.
Yeah.
It's because he's making so many candles, man. The dude's out there making those candles. It's taking away the time that he can.
On Twitter. Yeah.
He's got his masculine candle collection, guys.
That is random. I saw that on Twitter.
I want to buy one so bad. I just don't really want a candle, honestly. Like I don't want one. I just don't want candles. Like I'm never gonna light a candle. Maybe I'll give one to my girlfriend and be like, yo, I got this candle from Bad Bubba Jenkins. And she's gonna be like, what? Yeah, I don't know. But we can move on. We got probably an easy one here that I'm gonna let you kick off. We have Magomed Umalatov taking on Brennan Ward, and I feel like I know where you're going with this one, but how do you feel? I
mean, I think Brennan Ward easily smashes this dude. Nah, I'm playing. Nah, man. I wish I could give you guys a hot take. Like you said, I think this is easy. You know, Brennan Ward. I mean, I just don't really see how he wins this fight. You know, I'm trying to not be disrespectful, but I just think this is a levels fight. Magomed should be able to do pretty much whatever he wants here. Like, I was looking at some props, like how do I feel? You know, I'm trying to look at him a little bit, see if anything sticks out, but I don't know. I mean, I think he finishes him. I think he should be able to get on top if he wants. On the feet, I honestly think he's the better striker. Yeah, I mean, I don't really see how Ward wins this fight. So it's probably unplayable at this line, but give me Magomed, probably TKO. Just yeah, I can't give you much of a take on this one. It's smash.
So the under 1.5 is at -260, and that should tell you a little something about how this fight's gonna go.
My God.
Yeah, Umalatov should absolutely just. I think he's just gonna knock him out on the feet. Honestly, Brennan Ward's not terrible, but like this is. I mean, this is just. I mean, Umalatov's up there as one of the people that could potentially win the whole season for the welterweight. So it's like, you know. Oh, here we go. Look at that, dude. You got some hype from JD down there. You're the favorite guest.
Appreciate you, JD. Appreciate you tuning in.
Word. Then JD, don't forget to check out Coty's channel, man. If you haven't already, his links are in the description of this video or the stream here. So make sure you do that. Subscribe to him. Follow him on the Twitter. Follow him on the Instagram. I didn't put anything else up there. I put those 3: Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, of course. So you know, make sure to check those out. Coty's got a good channel. He's always just handing you money in his thumbnails, which I like. It's great. But yeah, so we're definitely in agreement there. Umalatov is the easy pick. We can move on to the next one, which is a short notice fight that I think was announced yesterday or today. I can't remember which. We have Logan Storley, the hometown boy. He's taking on Luca Poclit. And yeah, so I didn't get to do tape with the specific intention of watching these two to fight each other.
Yeah,
but I don't know that it's necessary for that, because I think it's basically going to look like this, right? It's wrestling versus jiu-jitsu essentially, or like submission style grappling. And if Poclit wins, it's by submission. And if Storley wins, it's probably a decision. Maybe he could ground and pound him, but I don't see it. I think Poclit's going to be safe enough on the ground. So it's probably going to be one of those things where Storley is winning until he either gets subbed or just wins the fight. And honestly, I've got to go with Storley. I just think it's too big of a step up in competition for Poclit at this point. I mean, he's been impressive so far. I mean, he has that submission, that crazy submission. What was it called? I think he called it the Lucanator.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, the Lucanator, greatest friggin' choke that I've ever seen. I don't even know how to do that still. I've watched it like dozens of times, and I still can't figure out how he did that. If I could pull that off in the gym, that would be the sickest thing. And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, that's the Lucanator. Like, whatever.
He's definitely got nasty subs.
Dude, so if he wins, it's probably submission, realistically.
Yeah.
But Storley's probably going to grind him out to a decision. But Coty, what do you think? Like, I mean, am I on with that? Am I right with that?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're pretty much in agreement here. I just feel like, you know, you never really want to bet on a guy to win off of his back in high level MMA. And, you know, the fact that when I bring it up, and again, jiu-jitsu guy, I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, love jiu-jitsu, but at a certain level, like when you're fighting these top guys, you got to get on top. You got to use your jiu-jitsu. It's not that people will mistake that statement with jiu-jitsu doesn't know. Jiu-jitsu, you need it. There's and another reason why it's like that is because in the old day of jiu-jitsu or in UFC, nobody had jiu-jitsu. So if you had jiu-jitsu, it was easy. But now you can't make it to the UFC if you aren't at least like a high-level blue belt skill-wise. Maybe you'll have a brown belt, but realistically, those who know, you know, a lot of times they're really like have the skills of like a really good blue belt, low-level purple, but, you know, they get promoted a little quicker based on their MMA path. And, you know, but you still have to have some jiu-jitsu. If you don't, you get submitted in your fights easily, and you'll never even make it to the Bellator, PFL, UFC. But at least 99% of the time, like people will say, guys like Pereira, oh yes, just take him down. It's just easy jiu-jitsu, dude. You're clueless. This guy is like, you kind of expose yourself as a little bit of a casual when you say stuff like that, because it's like, do you think this guy's not doing any jiu-jitsu? His head coach is Glover Teixeira. He's training with Glover every day. These guys basically live together. You don't think black belt Glover Teixeira taught him a thing or two of jiu-jitsu? Now, is this guy like a world beater in jiu-jitsu? No, but so it's similar here, where I think Storley will have the jiu-jitsu defense to stay safe on top. I don't want to bet a guy. Sorry, I got a little off track there. To get a submission off of his back. And at least if you're gonna do it, you're getting decent plus money. But I'm honestly surprised Storley's not a bigger favorite. So when we start talking about parlays, I think Storley, he is like one of the guys I would be looking to use, because he's not like minus 800, and I do think the takedown should come fairly easy. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge SBG Ireland guy. Like I think he's training somewhere else too now, though. Do you know where? I think he's done this training camp with someone else. I don't remember, but I just side note, not a huge SPG Ireland guy. I know he's done a lot of his training there. Obviously they have Conor McGregor, but a lot of these other guys that have come from there haven't had the most success. So yeah, especially if you're gonna lean on like your jiu-jitsu, like I don't know. I mean, they get decent jiu-jitsu over there, but like I don't think he's gonna beat Storley with submitting him off his back. So. You got to use your jiu-jitsu and high-level MMA to sweep, to get up. At least, guys like Lopez, they kind of get away with it a little bit. He's just attacking, but he uses those attacks off his back to find a sweep or something. I'm a fan of the jab backhand. But, yeah, no, man. So the pick is Storley. I think agree with you, Storley decision. We can move on to the main event, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So the one thing, like I say, that I'd be worried about is Poclit pulling off a submission. And like, if the line's juicy enough when they drop the props, I might throw like a dart at it, because like minus 300 for Storley, you got to imagine you're probably getting at least a decent line for a submission. But like, because Poclit went from fighting some dude that was like 2-2 in his last 4 fights, had been doing like losing boxing fights. He was like 14-9. Like, they were setting it up for a win for Poclit, to like, oh crap, we need somebody that has a decent record to fight Storley now, because this fight's falling out and Stroppoli's out. So here you go. You're now going to be cannon fodder as opposed to
get
the shot at it. But
I had him winning. I thought he was going to win that fight pretty easily.
Easy. He probably would have subbed him, no problem. Yeah. So I agree. Classical Andrews put up in Alaska. How is it up there this time of year? Is it like nice? Because it sucks where I'm at. It's hot. It's like 100 and something degrees outside. It's terrible and humid as all get out. But yeah, so I definitely agree. Real quick, we got 50 people watching. So if you guys would do me that solid and just hit that like button. I know that's kind of annoying that I asked this, but it would be very appreciated. It doesn't cost you anything, and I'm kind of just going to talk until you do it. So just go on down there, hit the button. It's a little thumbs up. It looks like this. You guys can do that for me. I would really appreciate it. McPooperton doing like the name suggests. So good to hear. It's good to hear, brother. But
hey, my real name is Andrew, and I'm from Fairbanks, Alaska. So
no way.
We got a lot in common, Mr. Classical.
There you go. You and Classical, you're like kindred spirits right there. Heat wave at 77. Dude, that would be beautiful right now. Do you know what I would do to get 77-degree weather right now? My goodness. It's brutal here. I should move to Alaska. That is. Let's see. Yeah. He's from Anchorage. There you go.
Nice.
But yeah, so we'll move to the main event now. One of these days I'm going to have to go up to Alaska and enjoy that weather during the brutal summers here in Omaha. But Brendan Loughnane takes on Justin Gonzalez. And let's see. I started the last one, so you better start this one. Let's see who you've got, Loughnane or Gonzalez.
I hate back-to-back to be a little, I mean, I guess the co-main, it's not like an absolute squash, but – and this is still – he's only -5, -6. But again, man, I don't really see how Justin Gonzalez wins this fight. I mean, honestly, I haven't been super impressed with his last couple of performances. I mean, decently well-rounded. I mean, I just feel like Brendan Loughnane, I mean, this dude's good, man, honestly. Like, I think he could compete if he was in the UFC. I guess it kind of played out great for him, how everything's worked out. Dude made a bag. Obviously had that tough loss in his last one, but this is a pretty solid bounce back. Man, I think Brendan Loughnane, he's good everywhere. I mean, I think he probably the real thing was trying to pick a method of victory. Or actually, no, he did beat Pedro Carvalho in his last one. It was the Pinedo fight. And I guess that it has been a little break. I was almost a year. That was about a year ago. So, but yeah, I mean, still, I think, the weird thing is like we were talking about with that layout, like that's got to kill a fighter's like motivation a little bit. If he's like, this fight literally almost means nothing. Like if I'm remotely in a tough fight here, why not just like give up my back and get rear naked choked and, take my check and come back in a couple months where the fights actually matter. So, that is a little bit of a narrative that could be a little interesting, but overall, I just think he's too good to fall under that. I think, I struggle in my mind when I think about how the fight plays out to see how Justin Gonzalez wins this fight, but I don't know. Do you see it going any differently?
So I think I'm a little higher on Justin Gonzalez than most people, but yeah, I mean, ultimately, I still think Loughnane gets it done. Don't get me wrong, but so Justin Gonzalez. So funny story about this. So back when I was still doing my it was Bellator at the time breakdowns on the marker board before it got to be where they're part of PFL and it's going to take way too much time to do all of PFL and Bellator on the marker board. I broke down Justin Gonzalez versus Madge Burnell, and I picked Madge Burnell, and I said it was going to be a close fight, but I thought he was going to be the better wrestler. But, it was a close fight, right? And apparently one of Justin Gonzalez's buddies found the video, and he was in the chat, like, going off on me, like, everything. And I was stoked for this because I love that. That helps the engagement. I love it. So ever since then, and I was complimentary, and I'm never not complimentary of fighters in my videos. Especially the whiteboard breakdowns. I literally have to write out the pluses and minuses on the board. I can't just go up there with all minuses. That'd be so bad. So I'm complimentary of Justin Gonzalez, right? But I said Mads is probably going to win. And then when Mads won, I went back to that comment and I said, hey, I'm sorry about your buddy. And then now he still watches my videos. So I hope he's watching this one. So that's hilarious. So if he's watching this one, I don't know what his actual name is, but Justin Gonzalez's buddy, dude, you're one of the real ones, man. But realistically, Gonzalez is on a 3-fight losing streak. It's to top competition, right? He lost to Madge Burnell, who's coming off of a big upset win just last week. Timur Khizriev, no shame
about
there.
him, yeah.
Braga, yeah, seriously. The dude's not losing to bums. And before that, who was his only other loss? Pico? Yeah, Pico. So it's not like he's bad. Gonzalez could pull off an upset here. I'm not minus 500 confident in Loughnane, especially for the reasons that you mentioned. Why do this? Why, if I'm starting to get some adversity here, why don't I just save myself for later and call it quits? Because he's already got a quick 6, right? And that quick 6 is going to be more beneficial than 2 decision wins, they say. So if you have the first round knockout or submission or whatever, it counts for more than 2 3-point decisions, from my understanding. And if that's the truth, if you're Loughnane, dude, don't even just go out there and just sandbag it, right? Just go out there, the first punch he throws, if it lands and you're like, ooh, that was a little more sting than I wanted, call it a day and go home, right? But I think Loughnane probably going to win, and it's going to be a shame because Gonzalez will be, on a 4-fight skid. But Gonzalez is better than that 4-fight skid suggests after this fight, and if he pulls this off, I will not be surprised. I won't be parlaying Loughnane. I think he's very good. I think he he should be the favorite, but I don't think he should be this big of a favorite. The line's wide to say, but yeah, ultimately we do agree there. Pooperton saying that Anthony Smith is out with an injury and now Dolidze is fighting Reyes. I don't know that that's true, but I don't know that it's, I guess, false. But that would be something. I'm going to say that that's probably false, but it might be true. If it's true, you're the first to hear, and I would be surprised that I haven't heard that. So that would be some news because that fight has already been shuffled a million times. JD's down here, loves Mads Burnell. Dude, seriously, Mads is a dog. Yeah. Last week, I actually did pretty good on the card last week. In fact, my PFL bets really just got me some good coin, and it let me take a few like wild shots, like the $10 shot on Tricoli submission, stuff like that. The wild shots.
I don't know if you saw me acting a fool.
That's funny. He's kidding. Okay, I was gonna say
my victory lap.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I hit my biggest bet of all time.
Did you really?
Yeah. Biggest bet of all time, 10-unit bet on Robert Whittaker.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Dude, that's sick. I'm
not really I don't typically bet more than typically I'm very conservative. So it's rare I even put like 3 units on a bet. 5 units on a bet I've only done like a couple times. And this I hadn't done it all year. Hadn't even done a 5 unit. I think my biggest bet all year was 3 units, and I put 10 on Robert Whittaker.
That's actually really impressive. I think my last 10-unit bet was Eric Anders to beat Jamie Pickett, but that was my last 10-unit bet. But that was a while back, dude. The Robert Whittaker one, you got way better line than I did. I've never bet a 10-unit bet on somebody that was minus 155 or something like that.
He was minus 130 when I got it, but did you see that close? It was like minus 110. It was even money really? When the fight happened. I was like, I almost put if I wouldn't have put already, I was like, nah, chill out. But when I saw he was at least minus 115, like when the fight happened, it was like even money. So that kind of scared me too, because remember he was like minus 165 like at weigh-ins, and then fight time, it was like minus 115. I was like, oh my God, there's an injury, there's inside info. But then I was like, you know what? If there's anybody I don't think they'll have to worry about that with, it's Rob, bro. Like, he's a professional. And I just was like, dude, he's got Alaskarov covered. And people take it the wrong way. They think that means I don't think Alaskarov's good. No, it's just there's levels, man. Rob is the 3rd best middleweight of all time. But that's another discussion for another day.
I do think, though, if that fight ran again and it didn't happen under the same circumstances, people were saying, oh, it wasn't, there's nothing to do with the weight cut. So if there was an interview I listened to on, might have been MMA Junkie or one of those things, right? And Ikram was talking about when he got the call, and this was before the fight. Like he had said that he even had to put some weight back on to make it so he could do the proper weight cut the next week. If they run that fight again, I'm not saying like Ikram wins. Like I'm just saying, I don't think he gets rocked and rattled by the first punch that lands, because his durability was definitely not we've seen the guy get hit before, and it's not like he just falls apart.
That was a hard ass punch. It
was.
I don't know if you saw Miguel's video, the little breakdown, where he showed that Rob set him up. He did the same feint a couple times and set up that overhand. But yeah, no, I feel you. That was definitely something I had in mind when I was I already feel like this guy's got him covered skill for skill. All these other things, and this is the biggest step up in UFC history in my eyes. Oh, and then also this dude's taking it under not ideal. You're going to give the intangibles to Robert Whittaker and almost give me even money on a guy who's unranked, whose best wins are Phil Haas and freaking Warley Alves in 2024. Thank you. Come again.
That was solid. Solid.
Hey, but yeah, no, I'm UFC 303. I'm excited for as well. This PFL card is pretty solid too. Yeah, I know we got a parlay to build.
Let's build this parlay.
Are we doing it just PFL guys, or are we trying to mix and match?
Just PFL, unless we get to a point where we're stuck and we still don't have at least some plus money. Let's start with just PFL. Now we can do over-unders. We can do whatever. Okay. We're going to try with PFL. Tell you what, we can do anything outside of the UFC. So if you're feeling wild, we can throw in Invicta or KSW or whatever. I've got a couple of lines I love on the Invicta card, but I'm not going to throw those out unless we need them, because the Patreon supporters have gotten those. So yeah, Invicta's my jam. So I'm stoked to have that back. But okay? So I'll throw one out there. My favorite leg at the value and at everything is probably Lorenz Larkin at minus 276. That would be, I guess either that or the over 2.5 at -151 in the Kamaka Carvalho fight. Those are two that really just stand out as like freebies, like at good value.
Yeah, no, I like that over. Like that's that. I mean, are we you said how many legs are going to be in this parlay?
3 to 5.
Okay.
Unless we're feeling
because
crazy.
obviously that Kai one, that's going to juice it up pretty well.
Let's do it.
But yeah, no, I'm down for that. I really do think he probably wins the fight by decision. So I'm down to do that.
Okay, so we got -151 on the over in the Carvalho Kamaka fight. What else was the other one you want to throw in?
I mean, if you're I don't know what this line is right now. I know you got it at much better, but I mean, my most confident pick that's not outrageous. I mean, it's -400 on Betway would probably be Khizriev. Honestly,
okay.
I mean,
I'm gonna throw it on from Bet Online. It's 600, which is kind of a shame, but that way I can put the parlay on from there. So we're gonna go -600, but it's still okay. We still got it. So -600. So we got a -151 and a -600. That puts us at -106 with 2 legs. So I mean, we're already almost there. And one of those is a super freebie, is Khizriev.
Yeah.
So we've got Khizriev in the over in the Kamaka fight. Who else is like an easy? I don't really even want to put Umalatov in there because it's like -1500.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not against. I wouldn't be against like. Man, it's gotten crazy. Yeah. No, I mean, I wouldn't mind Storley. Honestly,
Storley. You like Storley better than Larkin?
I mean, it's pretty close to a similar line. I mean. Well, yeah, you seem more confident in Larkin, and
I'm more confident in Larkin, but
you're
more confident in Storley.
Yeah, but I do.
You can throw both in there.
I
mean, no shame in that. Let's see.
What do they both do to the parlay?
If we put both of them there, let's see. We got -300, and Larkin is currently where is he at? Larkin's 276. So if we go and it's 276, we'd be at +252 with Larkin, Storley, the over, and Khizriev.
Okay.
It's not bad. Not bad. Let's see. Maybe with a 5th leg, we could get it over +300.
You know what we could do?
What's that?
We could either go crazy and put both of them in it and then do this, or we could take both of those out since I'm not super big on Larkin, you're not super big on Storley, and put Musaev in.
Musaev. Ooh.
Musaev, the over in the Kamaka fight, and Khizriev.
I think Musaev loses is the problem.
Oh wait, yeah, that's right. We picked it. Never mind.
I like the odds though.
No. I for some reason in my head I thought you were on Musaev too. Never mind.
Yeah, because I'm on Ramazanov.
Yeah, never mind. We can't put that in there if you're against them.
I mean, I don't mind the odds, but yeah.
No.
Koreshkov. Like, how confident are you in Koreshkov at -130?
Oh yeah, I didn't really think about that because I didn't put him on the parlay. Like I wrote down some potential parlay because I have him bet straight. Yeah, no, I mean honestly, I'd be down to do the over in the Kamaka fight, Khizriev and Koreshkov.
So that puts us at about the same as if we had the other 2 legs. So that puts us at like +243. Let's try to add one more just to sweeten it a tiny bit. And it doesn't even have to be a huge leg. I mean, probably not Umalatov, but what if we put, let's see. Oh, that's brutal, actually. Just kidding. What if we put, gosh, actually, I don't even know.
You weren't super big on Johns, right? I mean,
Jones, yeah, I don't think I'm big enough on him to like put him in. I don't trust him that much.
I mean, I guess we'd be doubling down, but I do feel like Kamaka's pretty safe.
You think
the number's not that crazy? I mean, I don't really, honestly, I'm not very high on Carvalho. I really don't see him winning that fight.
Yeah, that's true. He hasn't been good in a while.
Or we could always do
Madge at 290.
What'd you say?
What do you think about Don Madge at minus 290?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that number's not bad.
The numbers really, if we put him in, we don't necessarily have to, but let's check what it would look like. Okay, there we go. At minus 290, he puts us to plus 361.
It's pretty solid. 4 legs, 361.
That's not bad.
Madge. Yeah,
the only thing is, like, can Neiman Gracie even get a takedown against?
That's the thing is, like, on the feed, I feel like Madge should just be landing the bigger shots and either knock him out or just do enough damage to edge rounds. The only, like, Madge has never been a guy I really love to bet because sometimes it's like, hey man, do something, like throw. But I do feel like if Gracie is kind of sub or bust, like, is Gracie really gonna win like a decision over Madge? Like, I don't really see that.
And when's the last time Gracie's actually like shot a good takedown?
Yeah, I mean, honestly. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd be.
Let's see, JD's saying he doesn't really like Madge at that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Don Madge would have to be dumb as a box of rocks to try to grapple with Gracie here.
Yeah. I mean, I wish we could see what Kamaka decision was, because that would be.
Yeah, that would be.
I'd be down to just do that and do like Kamaka decision, Koreshkov, and then Khizriev. But because it sucks that we'd have to double down, but I'd almost feel more confident in Kamaka than
Madge.
Yeah, than Madge. But then we'd have to double down, and then I don't know.
Well, if we double down on it, it's plus 341, which is still decent.
I mean, because I feel like I would be more shocked if Carvalho beats Kamaka than like Gracie just somehow like takes it back on the feet or something. Like,
that's true.
Know. Like, I really just Carvalho, like, he's just, I don't know. I'd be pretty sure. I feel like Kamaka's pretty good, man, and he's not like old. I don't know. I feel like he just pieces this dude up on the feet. The biggest worry would be like he actually finally finds a way to get a knockout. But I mean, minus 150, that's juicing the parlay so much.
Yeah, we need that in there. That's the one leg we can't get rid of, because that's a big. I guess that one in Koreshkov alone is like a pretty solid. Okay, because I mean, if we put those four, like, we're doing pretty good. We're at plus 341. If we got crazy and added Umalatov, we're at plus 371. Doesn't really add anything of any value, really. I think we go with those four.
Yeah, I'm cool with those four. I like those because, Storley, you're not super on. I mean, I
guess what if we add Storley? Well, if we add Storley, it's plus 488. I'm just going to be sweating anytime he's like sitting there on top and like Poclit starts doing anything.
Yeah.
I like a good sweat. I mean, I don't know. I guess not really. Not lately. I just sweat too much digging out fence posts today. That sucked. But you know what?
If we have Larkin, I'd say we take Kamaka out, and we add or if we add Storley, I say we take Kamaka out and put your boy. If we're gonna put Storley in, trust me, then I'll trust you. We're gonna put Larkin in.
So if we take Kamaka out and put Larkin in, and then also put Storley in, now we're talking. We got a 5-legger that's plus 523,
and that's so we got Storley, Larkin, the over in the Kamaka fight, Khizriev, and then Koreshkov, right?
Yes, and I'm putting that in the chat right now.
Yeah, that's it, I think. 5-legger, definitely a sweat. But hey,
I think it hits
plus money.
Let's see, that gets us to plus 523 on Bet Online.
Storley, Larkin, Khizriev.
I might play it. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't put like a huge bet on it, but that's like a 10th of a unit shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Throw it up and freaking make PFL more interesting. I do have Koreshkov already bet, and I have Musaev bet, which we're obviously against. I have John's bet, and I'm probably honestly going to bet that Kamaka over. I'm going to
do it right after the stream.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm glad you brought that up. I honestly like for some reason I didn't jot that down on my props that I like for I think I in my head I was like, oh, bookies are gonna there's no way. Like
It should be
but
steamed.
yeah, I mean, I guess they really think Kamaka's finally gonna get a finish, but I don't know, man. I mean, Carvalho has been finished a lot, so I get it, but I don't know. Kamaka just doesn't really go for it. Like he hurts people and he just doesn't go for it. So yeah.
Zero killer instinct.
Yeah.
I guess. Oh, okay. So that's why, because Carvalho's been finished in his last 2 fights.
Yeah.
But I mean, before that, it was a string of decisions against pretty good competition. And the last 2 fights are against Brennan Loughnane and Aaron Pico. So it's like
Exactly.
the guys
Like, those
finishing
are
at a
finishers.
much higher level.
Yeah, those are finishers. Kamaka's
Yeah.
not a finisher. Like
Before
Loughnane.
that, he hasn't been finished since no, I guess JJ Wilson. Just kidding. And then Patricio Pitbull. So yeah, the guys finishing him are they're finishers.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah, no, I
Kamaka's
love that
simply
order. I'm playing that for sure.
Yeah,
But
I'm gonna play that.
523. That's a heck of a parlay. That's what we're doing. So everybody that's been in the chat, you guys rock. Play that parlay, and you can come back and thank us later. Don't get too crazy on it because we don't want you mad at us when it doesn't hit. But it's hitting, guys. It's hitting. Real quick before we take off, Coty, go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you, at least verbally. Obviously, everything's in the description of this video. If you haven't heard me say that already, it's in the description of this video. You can check out all of Coty's stuff as well as my stuff. But check that out. Coty, where can they find you?
Yeah, man. And make sure y'all like this video. Appreciate you having me, man. It was fun. We'll definitely do it again. I'll have to do more PFL like content because I like watching the cards and it makes it more interesting. But yeah,
sure.
It's Coty Dankh on YouTube. I do these breakdowns every single week. I do a recap after. I do like a little prop video, like usually Thursdays. So yeah, Coty Dankh on everything besides Twitter. It's Coty Jitsu. Yeah, appreciate you having me, man. Like I said, we'll definitely do it again. Good luck, guys. Make those bets. Hey, War Korshkov, and
Yes.
we're gonna hit that parlay too. I'm gonna throw a little something on it, and I am gonna play that over. And I have those other couple bets that I mentioned. So appreciate y'all having me and everybody in the chat. You guys were dope. So I appreciate you, man.
Heck yeah, brother. All right, chat. We are out. See you guys down the road. As soon as